picture. Got a goose out there being angry. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while.
Hello.
Summer has been kind of weird, and Sam's schedule has been really weird, and it's really hard to do a live by myself with all the kids. So we've just been kind of taking a break, I guess, from doing lives. But Sam's home today, yay! And so we are. No, I muted this. Anyway, and so we are gonna do a live stream and catch up and see what's going on. So we'll let a few more people jump on, hopefully find us. I know we're out of the trend of doing these, so it was a pretty good day. It rained here again, which is awesome because after a spring of no rain, it's rained or sprinkled almost every day. I feel like
Was yesterday we had a huge rain?
Yeah, we had a huge storm Saturday. So, Grammy is here. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Hello.
And Kelly's here from Alabama, and Veronica's here. Welcome. Holly's here. So our garden is looking great, though, because it kind of sprinkles every day, and things are growing. So I'm excited for the fall. Hopefully it all continues to go well. Welcome, Beth, and Chris is here. So you want to catch everybody up? You're almost done?
Oh, yeah. I've got this week and next week. Next week should be my last week of school. This week, I'm pretty much done with... Well, I'm done with all of my testing. I have some paperwork to turn in. I have 3 clinical days, or practicum days left. So I have one tomorrow, and then Wednesday, and then one more on Tuesday next week. And I have to turn in paperwork for that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I graduate on Sunday. So I'll graduate and still have one more practicum day to do. But they allow us to do that. So, but I'm super excited to be done. And then I'll start my job as a labor and delivery nurse in about the middle of September. So I'm super excited about that too.
Let's see. Becky's here. Welcome. Tammy's here. And Carrie is here. Carrie hit 1,000 subs on her channel.
Congratulations.
So that's a big milestone. Good
Kelly.
job.
And Tammy says, been a while since I could tune in live. Moved houses in May, and it's been crazy. It is crazy. Laura hates moving.
I hate moving. I said, Sam, I don't. We ain't moving. If
We've
we have
only
to build
done it-
another house, it'll be on this property.
We've only done it a few times, and she hates it.
It's just too much.
Kind of funny.
Veronica says, way to go.
Thank you, Veronica.
Ann says, in northwest Missouri, we got 1.25 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Appreciate not having to water the garden. I'm sure seeing graduation day around the corner is very gratifying.
It is. I'm like, I'm just at the point though where I'm just wore out. I've been I've been working hard. I got ahead in a lot of things, but I am done with school. I'm ready for a little bit of a break. So I'm excited when Sunday rolls around and we have the actual ceremony. I'll be super excited, but I'm ready to get through these next 2 practicum days and be like that close to having everything done.
He asked me if I'd pin him at his pinning ceremony. Try not to stab you too hard.
I'm going to have to make some kind of protective vest for myself so I don't get stabbed.
Let's see. Beth Ford says, congratulations. Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's exciting. The light at the end of the tunnel is like right here. 2 years ago when we were figuring out how long it would take, we were like, that seems like forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
It's challenging.
It was challenging.
I don't know that I would ever want to do it again, but let's not do this again. But we made it to the side.
Depends what the reward is.
Yeah.
If you want a big reward, you have to have a big sacrifice.
I only got so much left in me.
That's not true.
Tammy says, congratulations on graduating. Labor and delivery are special people. Veronica says, send a question email. All right, I will check it. And if you don't hear from us in a couple of days, send it again because we get a lot of spam in our email. And
we do,
so
actually.
Sometimes it's hard to go through it all to find real people. Can you let the dog out? I'm sure it's outside.
Yeah.
Sometimes the real emails get accidentally deleted because there's so much spam in the account. So I will check it tomorrow though. So if you don't hear from me by tomorrow night, please send it again because I may have accidentally deleted it going through all the spam that we get. So what was it? I was gonna say something.
I don't know. I've been doing my practicum though on a labor and delivery floor, which I'm super grateful for. Going into labor and delivery as my job.
I feel like you made the right choice.
But yeah, I really enjoy it. I do think I made the right choice. I don't know. I just like the whole atmosphere. I like that it's each birth is a little bit different. I like that. But we do a lot of the same things over and over again. I do just my personality. I kind of like that. And then it gets really, really intense sometimes. And I like that too. So it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it fits me really well.
I think he picked it because after he worked med surge, which a lot of it is like geriatrics type older patients, and they all keep their rooms on like 85 degrees, and he was like, enough of that. So he paid labor and delivery because the women are always hot, so their rooms are like frigid cold all the time.
Sometimes, some of them like it warm though. Some of them want to crank up the heat. It just depends. Some of them, it depends like what stage of labor they're in. As you know, it'll be an ice chest 1 minute, and you go back in 15 minutes later, and they got it blazing hot in there. So it just kind of depends. But see, Judah says, Ball Fam says, congrats on the new baby. Thank you. Congrats on being done with school, Sam. Thank you. Let's see. What animals do you not have that you could see getting? Alpaca, llama, giraffe. Dream animal.
We talked about getting a cow this fall.
Yeah, I don't know. This fall might be pushing
spring.
it just a little bit. But I one animal that I think we haven't really talked about it a lot because you don't really get anything out of them except maybe pleasure once in a while, and that's getting a horse or some ponies. One of the girls asks at least once a week if they can have a horse or a pony. Mm-hmm. But they tend to just suck you dry of money. And so
yeah, it's just an expense, period.
Yeah, and I know you get some pleasure and you'll have some fun out of it, and maybe one of the girls would like to take riding lessons or something like that. But I think that would be kind of a dream animal eventually we'd like to get. I think that would be fun. Hello, Adele.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
I think the problem though is you get one horse and everybody fights about it.
That is true. If you get one, you got to get like 4 for our family. Just so there'd be enough for everybody to share. One would be, we'd wear that poor horse out if everybody got a ride.
I do think in the near future, though, I would like to be fall, but Sam's probably right. Fall is not what we should do, but maybe in the spring, get a cow, try to raise our own beef. That's going to be coming soon. We've been waiting to do that for a long time.
That's very true.
It's a large upfront expense. Cows are much more expensive than some of the smaller animals.
And it's a little more of a time expense too. They take a little longer to grow out than some of the smaller animals. It's crazy. Like chickens grow out in 6 weeks, and a cow, depending on how you're gonna raise it and feed it, like people that just do grass-fed beef, like some of those cows or steers can take like 2 years to grow out. That's a long time to wait for that beef. I don't know if we do just grass-fed. We might give it some grain too. I don't know.
Our pasture, like I know that tends to be kind of the homesteading ideal, like the golden trophy grass-fed. But I feel like our pasture is much better than it used to be, but it's still not like amazing.
Yeah, we don't have the best pasture.
And also the grain is like a bribe for the animal. If you have a naughty animal that gets out or something, but they get a little bit of grain every day, you jiggle that container and they will come from anywhere.
That's true.
To the barn to get it. So it makes it really easy if somebody gets out to get them back in. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, our pasture is not the best. We probably at some point should try to like reseed it or overseed it or whatever you want to call it with some good stuff.
because there's no telling what's out there. So
Just a mix of whatever.
it is.
But sheep seem to like it, so.
Jeffco says, "Congrats, thank you, thank you." All right, what else we got going on? School's this close to being over.
Yep.
I'll get like a month-ish, well, like maybe more like a month and a half off
Yeah, it's like 5 weeks.
until I start my job. And then that'll be in St. Louis, so it'll be a little bit of a commute, but it's about what
3
I've been
days
doing.
Instead of.
Yeah, for 3 days. I cannot. Let me tell you, out of everything. So we've been doing practicum, but we've also or like in anything with school, it's always been like 3 or 4 days. But then you have homework for the other 4 or 5 days of the week, whatever it is. I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to just go to work for those 3 days. And I know as a new nurse, there's still going to be a little bit of homework and stuff they want me to work on. But to have those 3 days and then the other 3 or 4 days, like, they're just mine. I cannot wait
You
for that.
don't take your work home with you.
Yeah, not so much. I'm sure there'll be some studying, but for the most part, it'll be my days. Again, I'm so excited for that. This school literally was like 7 days a week.
It was.
For
And you were still working
for
too. So.
yeah, for 14 months. Like I had to study or turn in some kind of homework almost every day. So I'm so excited for that.
Seth wants to know which of the animals drives you the most nuts when trying to do chores. I'll answer this separately. I'll let you go first.
I don't know. I'd say since ever since we've had animals, it's probably the goats. Just because they can be kind of naughty sometimes. Like when they know, like when we had our milk goats, they knew like what order they were supposed to go in to be milked, and like if they got out of order, or they all just kept shoving at the door and stuff to get in, because you bring them in one at a time to your little milking parlor to milk them, and they'd all just try and shove through, even though they know which one's supposed to go first. And if the right one doesn't go first, they pitch a big fit. They cry and complain about it. It's really funny, actually. So I don't know. I'd say the goats. They can just be goofy sometimes. They're not really bad. They can be a little annoying. And as soon as you open that door in the morning, or they see you flip on a light in your house, those goats are out there, man, just screaming at you. They sound like they're dying. So they're kind of funny, but some days it's just like, oh.
Mine is the cats, because you walk out the door
That's
and they
true.
start running figure eights through your legs as you're trying to walk to the barn to feed them, and you just trip over them and step on them.
That's a good one, actually.
It's really annoying. I don't know. I'm going to date myself on this one. When I was growing up, there was a video game called Duke Nukem, and you used to get these like alien spiders attached to him, and you just have to shake them off to win the game. I don't remember this, but that's what it's like every morning, trying to walk to the barn to feed them. I'm trying to help you, and you're in my way.
The funny part is too, like you're like, oh, maybe if I just don't walk in the path to the barn, because there's like a little dirt path, where everybody walks. And I've been like, I'll just walk around that. It doesn't matter. They still run through your legs, and you about trip going up there. So yeah, that's a good one. I'm with you on that. They do drive me.
Veronica says, I'm sure the kids and Laura will enjoy being home more with you without any stress.
Yes.
So we're excited.
We'll actually get to do some stuff as a family.
Yes. Judah says, thanks for answering. You're welcome. And Beth wants to know, has your poultry family all gotten adjusted to their co-mingling? And it's actually gone really well.
We haven't had any fights break out.
No, and they go in at night. That's easier than I thought. So I thought we'd move those geese and those ducks down there, and they would, we'd get them in there the first night and lock them up, but that they would never come back to that coop. But they do. I mean, we have to kind of kick them in there. The geese will not go in the coop until they're the last ones. The chickens have to go in, and the ducks. It's
kind of funny. The geese are young. They're much bigger, obviously, than the ducks, but the geese are younger. Like, they're still kind of babies, and so some of the time they follow the ducks everywhere, and so the geese won't actually go in the pen until the ducks go in there, because they're like the leaders. I imagine like over this fall and winter that'll kind of change, because the geese are going to get older. But they're still kind of babies, and so they follow the ducks around, which is funny because they're about 3 times the size of the ducks.
There's been a couple of nights Sam's literally had to boot the lead duck, the white duck, boot her in the buns to get her to go. Because they'll stand right at the door, but they won't go in until they have decided it's time. And we're just like, I'm not standing out here for 20 minutes looking at you at 8:30 at night. So he just kind of like shoves her little behind in the door, and then everybody else goes in and you lock it. But
it's kind of funny.
they know what you want them to do.
But it's, I feel like the commingling's good. Like, they don't fight.
No.
So that's always kind of the main concern, is that they'll beat each other up when you try and put them all together. But that hasn't really been a problem. So that's been good.
Let's see, Becky agrees the cats drive her insane. And Diane says congratulations and welcome, Diane. Chris says, I'm going to bring the conversation the new baby. I know you said that one more meant getting a larger van. What kind of feature change to have with the new baby and new jump? So Sam is already researching vans. That's probably the biggest change. It's one of the biggest reasons. So this is the longest gap we've had between babies. Pat will be, 2.5 by the time this baby comes in. All of our other kids are 18 to 20 months apart. But we knew we would never be able to buy a new van while he was in school, because these 12 and 15 passenger vehicles, which is your next step up from a minivan, they're expensive. And they're hard to find. Because they don't make them like they make cars and minivans, like in the number. So we are looking, but we've decided we really don't want to make a bad or a rash purchase.
We think what will probably happen is we might put it off till after baby comes and we get to the new year. So we might go a month or two.
Because with a brand new newborn, we're not really going to go very far. And if we do have to go somewhere, we'll just take 2 cars. But we're hoping if we can wait to the new year, we'll be able to have a much larger down payment for a van.
So it'll probably be a little bit after the new year, but it'll be some kind of 12 passenger, maybe 15 passenger van. I'm not sure. I don't know. I've been doing a little bit of research on them, but they all seem kind of equal. They all kind of have pros and cons. To me, it doesn't seem like there's one that just stands out head and shoulders above the rest. I do know the Mercedes makes a 12 and 15 passenger van, and they last for forever. But if they ever have an issue, it's so expensive to fix them. So that's the only one where it's maybe it has some nice positives about it, that it will last a long time. But the fact that it costs 2 or 3 times as much to get parts for it, that really discourages you. So I don't know. We'll probably just go with some kind of a Chevy, Ford, Dodge, something or other. I don't know. Whatever we can find.
I think we've pretty much decided though, because you basically have 2 choices. There's a couple SUVs that seat 4 in the back row, right?
Some of the older.
So we could fit in one of those. Every seat would be taken. Or then the next option is a 12 or 15 passenger. And I think we decided we don't want to do the SUV. I can't imagine having 4 in a row in the back. They would just be murdering each other every time we tried to go somewhere. They already annoy each other so bad with 3 in the back in the minivan. So I think we want the extra seats just so we can space people out who don't get along on long car rides.
And I think our goal would be to buy a van. We'd buy a used van, one that would get us through for a couple of years, I would say. Something that's kind of reliable, give us through a couple of years. And then a few years down the road, probably buy a nice van.
Right.
Something that's got some bells and whistles. I don't know if it would be new, but maybe just a couple of years old instead of 10 or 12 years old.
So the second part of our question, what other future changes do you see happening?
The other thing is you just need more living space for people and more rooms or beds or whatever.
I don't think the baby necessarily causes that, but now that the older kids are getting bigger, we're starting to definitely need more. A little more space.
It's right now with the baby, no, but in 2 or 3 years, then you need more space. So definitely just most of the time, I would say, when you add if you already have 1 or 2 kids and you add another one, I would say, it's not going to cost you that much money because you're already kind of set up for it. But really going 6 to 7 does cost you a lot more money just because of how vehicles are and a lot the like space you have in a lot of just kind of normal homes.
And
So,
a lot of family passes for activities cap you out at 6 kids. I've noticed.
so it does
So,
change some stuff, but
so yeah, everything about it. We have some ideas of what we want to do to the house as far as it increasing a little bit of living space. I do not have any desire to have a huge house. Like, I really don't. But we do need just more general living space. So, a little bit more space and one more bathroom would be great. Having the 10 acres outside helps a lot. One thing we want to do is fix up the outside a little bit nicer so there's more play space, because you can run around outside, but there's nowhere for them to really rollerblade or ride bikes or play basketball because it's all just grass.
Yeah. It'd be nice too to have like a porch and things
Yeah.
like that, more usable outside space.
But I don't want a giant house because then I have to clean it.
Let's see. Carmen says Mercedes are a nightmare. Ask some owners. Better have a savings account for repairs. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. So I do think we're gonna steer clear of them.
Prep for Eternity is here. Welcome.
Let's see. Mrs. Peach says, hello from California. Can't believe I made it here for live. Wow, good to see you.
Thanks
for hopping on. Tammy says, I think the 15-passenger van would be the ideal if you can get it. Also, used is a good idea, always. So, yes, for sure. And Becky says, only one bathroom. Yes, our house has one bathroom. Can you believe it?
The other thing with the 15-passenger, I think we might trade in. Sam's got a truck right now, but if we had a 15-passenger, it has the same haul and tow capabilities as a truck, has the same engine.
Kinda.
And if you take the seats out, it's the same. Like, you can fit the same size stuff as you put in the bed of a truck.
A lot of times.
So we wouldn't need both. So that's kind of the benefit. If we had something smaller, it might be should we keep the truck too? But we could trade in the truck for a 15-passenger and still be able to kind of do what we already do with the truck, which would be a bonus. So.
Chris says maybe try calling local taxi companies and see what they do with their passenger vans once they have miles. Put all the miles on them. Yeah, we've done that before. We've bought a vehicle from Hertz before, and the nice thing is, at least for us, I know. Some people might shy away from vehicles from like a rental company because people treat rentals terribly. But the nice thing is that they are regularly maintained. So, they've always had their oil changes done on time and such, or that they're supposed to anyway. And so we've thought about that, trying to get like a big 12 or 15 passenger van from like an Enterprise or a Hertz or whoever, because some of them do sell them. So that is something to keep in mind. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, Tammy's here. Welcome. Chris says they will usually consider them mild out under 100. Yeah, and that's one of the things when looking at the 15 passenger vans that you run into. You can find them for sale, but it's like churches that are selling them, and they got like 250,000 miles on them, and you're like, I just don't trust that for driving my kids to town. Like, that's just too many miles.
Yeah. We drive so much and so far, multiple times a week, that we want something that's reliable. It can be a little bit older, and like I said, it just needs to be reliable for a couple of years for us before we get something that's a little bit nicer. I think once we've been able to save up some money for my new job, we can get something a little nicer. But yeah.
Pete is here. Welcome. Are you still underwater in Vermont there, Pete, or is it dried up for you a little bit? Let's see. Becky says, with all those girls, y'all need another bathroom. Just wait till they're teenagers. We already have a rule. You don't get ready in the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, take your shower, whatever. You get ready upstairs in your room.
So, they've got mirrors up there that they can use. And that might be...
You don't do your hair in the bathroom.
No matter how many bathrooms we have, that might always be the rule, because growing up, so I'm the oldest of 7, and at this time I think we had 5. Yeah, we had 5 kids and 1 bathroom, and the sister that's directly under me, she's not here to defend herself, so I can say what I want, but on Sunday mornings she would be in that bathroom hogging it for like at least a couple hours. We're all banging on the door, just needing to relieve ourselves. She's sitting in there curling her hair. Anyway, yeah, we definitely need more restrooms, but I think we'll always have that rule because
yeah.
even if we had like 4 bathrooms, we'd still, I don't know, people are still gonna need them. I feel like.
Sharon is here from
Very dry, Mississippi.
Pete's okay.
No. Go ahead.
Pete says not flooding anymore. Thank you, but still getting too much rain. Seeing early blight on the tomatoes, but now we're getting pretty chilly weather. 45.
45. Oh my goodness.
You'd have the windows open and.
Yeah, I'd be living it up in 45 in the low. Yeah, it's been pretty muggy and hot out here.
Tammy says I like the rental car companies too. They sell every year or two, and they are very well maintained. Bought 3 cars that way. Yeah, we had pretty good luck when we did it. So that's, and then the only negative is then if you have a car that you don't want to keep, you then have to sell it independently. Like it's not like a dealership where you could trade it in, which is mostly just like a personal nuisance. Don't like dealing with that kind of stuff, and the 100 people that'll call you and waste your time. So.
Let's see. Becky says dry here too. Sharon desperately needing rain. Sharon says our heat index was 107 today. That is toasty. I'm not even sure what our heat index has been the last few days.
It's been hot. I know when we had VBS, the heat index was like 105 because the kids weren't gonna play outside because it was just too dangerous. So it's been hot, and I'm impressed because the cabbages I planted when I saw that I was like, it's gonna be 100 like 3 days in a row. Like the cabbage and the kale is not gonna. It's just gonna wilt and die. But it's
hanging in there.
It's still hanging in there out there. So we'll see what happens. So.
All right, what else we got?
Let's see. How's our little goat who is sick?
Yep, she's doing.
How does a goat who hasn't been anywhere get a respiratory illness?
I don't know, but she's doing much better now.
Life.
Yeah, she's doing much better now. She had a little runny nose and a slight cough. Well, we caught it super early, I think. Like literally one night, she was fine, and the next morning was coughing and had a runny nose, and we got her to the vet like pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
So we caught it super fast.
We had a sheep die like really fast of pneumonia or something.
That was last year.
It was last year. And so as soon as I realized she was sick, maybe it was a panic of it. I don't know, but she was sick. So we took her in and got her antibiotics. We didn't want to mess with that again. So let's see, what things do you need with the new baby coming? Gosh, we've had so many kids who have most of your stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty well set. We know how to have babies out here.
Yeah,
So,
we do.
how do we
I don't know, I think the only thing, somebody asked me that the other day too, the only things that I don't really have, like the newborn girls' clothes that were stored in the basement are kind of musty. So I think I might get some new, like, tiny little baby clothes. But, I mean, we got crib and I got a car seat coming already. It's from a sister-in-law who doesn't need hers anymore, so pretty well set up.
Yeah.
And the cloth diapers, I mean, you just pass them on to the next baby. So
See, Carrie says my cilantro is still growing in this heat. I can't believe it.
yeah, my parsley was still like, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fried, and it was still green. Maybe it's gonna die later, like we're gonna think it's made it, and it's gonna be dramatic ending, but. Tammy says here in California, it's been in the hundreds for 20 days and finally hit down in the mid-90s, expecting 103 by Sunday. Wow.
That does not sound like fun.
Nope. How about, so I know it's the middle of summer now, but how about winter prep? How are you feeling about like our wood stock? And are we ready?
Yeah, I think our wood's good. We're gonna have to get, probably in September, we'll have to tarp it all up and get it covered, but I think we'll be good.
Is there anything else you need for winter?
No, I think we're pretty well set. We've got that little, it was really nice last winter, we got that little heater for the goats and sheep for their
water. Yeah,
for their
that's
water,
nice.
so
Not having
that's
to break the water in the winter, that's nice. And we'll only have 2 goats over winter. We're going to butcher the sheep. I think the goats are just going to hang out as lawn mowers to keep our pasture knocked down in early spring before we add sheep again. So the sheep go to the butcher at the end of September. So we've been enjoying last year's sheep meat. I found the goat, we don't like it that much. right out of the freezer, but I canned goat because I was like, I just don't know what to do with this, and that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice and tender. So if you need suggestions for what to do with your goat, canning it seems to really help with both the flavor and the texture. So
Let's see. Veronica asked, "Do you guys have any air conditioning?"
this is
We
Sam's
do.
favorite purchase he ever made, right there.
Yeah, our
The
window
giant
AC.
window AC for the kitchen and living room.
We've got a couple AC units for like the bedrooms that we turn on like at night. But we went a long time without AC, and it's so nice when it's a day like this and you go outside and you work, and then it used to be you come inside and you could sit in front of a fan and it would kind of cool you off, but it would just wipe you out. It'd take forever for you to just like feel refreshed. And so now that we've got this AC, it's really, really nice because you could come in working from the morning and actually feel like you cool off a little bit.
How many years did we do? We were like hardcore because we were gonna go off grid, and so we were like, we don't need AC. We were like 2 years, and then we were just like, you know what? This is
No,
just
it was longer than that.
3 years.
It was like 3 or 4 years.
It was just we were just miserable for like. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 weeks out of the year, but my gosh, you just could not cool down, and so.
There's like, at least it used to be, there would be like 2 weeks out of the summer where it's miserable, where it's like 95 or above, and it only cools off to like 85. And I know there's other places that are warmer than that, but it would be tough. And not to mention like anytime you want to cook or anything like that.
You couldn't like can in the summer because it was already 95 in the house.
So props to people that go without air conditioning or fans. It's amazing. You can live that way. We've done it, but we did not enjoy ourselves. So one summer we had a little extra money, so we bought that massive window AC unit, and it has been the best purchase we've had. Let's see. Are we keeping the gender of the new baby a secret?
No, it's a girl. It's girl number 6. Poor Pat. But we
there
did
is a
gender
chance.
Reveal. Okay.
There is a chance.
I did
that
the
it could
blood
be a boy.
test. So because I'm now considered geriatric pregnancy because I'm over 35, the insurance will pay for a blood test that checks for chromosomal anomalies like Down syndrome. But as a benefit, they're already checking chromosomes, so they check your sex chromosomes too, so you know if it's a girl or a boy. So that was actually covered by insurance. So I was like, well, I'm not going to do it. But there's something like a 2 or 3% chance that it's wrong. And
I think it's higher than that.
And it's
I think it's like a 10% chance.
It's usually wrong from girl to boy. So they tell you it's a girl, but it's actually a boy. So Sam is here with his fingers and toes crossed, waiting for our ultrasound in a few weeks. That the test is wrong, but I don't know. I know the odds are not in your favor. So.
I know. Anyway, it's supposed to be a girl, but it could be a boy.
We'll see.
Becky says, I've never ate goat before. This last year was our first year doing it. I would say I like the sheep better, but the goat, you've cooked it a few ways that have been delicious.
It took a while to figure out how to cook it. I think that's the biggest. It's just different. So.
Let's see, what else we got? Chris says, Tammy, you must be by the coast. Just dropped to 99 here today.
Whoa.
And then Carmen says, the Chillwell portable air conditioning unit is great, $89 to $130. You can charge by USB. Oh, that's cool. Car or power bank.
Awesome.
There you go. That is nice.
Let's see. BBQ goat is delish. The canned meat in the crock pot with the barbecue. Yeah, and I canned some of it in barbecue sauce, so we use it for sandwiches. And really, it doesn't. It tastes like barbecue meat. Like, you're not like, oh, that's goat.
Was it goat or sheep that we had as like tacos or some kind of like nachos?
It was goat. Yeah.
It was goat. That was pretty good. That wasn't bad.
And then
USB ports. Yeah.
So okay for off grid. Yeah. Let's see. Veronica says, I agree. So blessed to have air. Yeah. So, I mean, people do it.
Yeah, you can totally do it.
But you only live one life, and do you really want to be that hot and sweaty?
We did it for a few years.
We did.
Like, literally, I would say it's not too bad, except for those, like, 2 or 3 weeks out of the year. And then at least in Missouri, it just stinks. You know what, the worst part, I complain about it during the day, when you're working, but at night, you just can't rest because you just
Sleeping
have
in
sweat.
your own swamp.
Oh yeah, kind of. That was I think that may have been the part that got us, but anyway. I think we'll forever have air conditioning now. So, and yeah. Anyway, let's see. Veronica says a healthy baby is a blessing either way. Our one son and his wife have been praying for 6 years and now doing the infertility stuff. Nice. Well, that's we thought we didn't try for 6 years, but we tried for a few years.
Yeah, before we had Micah.
Before we had Micah.
We weren't going to have children.
Yeah, we thought we were going to have to...
Surprise on that one.
To do that stuff, too. And now we have number 7 coming. So, we'll be praying for him, Veronica. That's tough when you try for that long. That really is. That wears on you, so... let's see. Texas Believer says, hello, everyone. Sorry to be late. Blessings
Welcome.
to all. Thanks for joining us. And Pete says, I find the humidity is what makes summer here a challenge.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one thing hot, but it's always really hot and humid in Missouri most of the time. You just can't cool off because your sweat doesn't evaporate.
Yeah, I had friends when I worked at the horse farm. Our horse trainer was from Colorado, and she'd go back to visit and then, obviously come back to her job in Missouri. And she'd be like, yeah, it's just as hot where we live in Colorado, but there's not nearly as much humidity. She's like, some days when it's 85, you almost feel like you need like a long sleeve shirt or a pullover or something like that. Like she says, it's so much different when there's not a lot of humidity. Texas Believer says 105 today at Lake Fork. My goodness. Well, I don't think it's been quite that hot here, but
it definitely hit 100 though a couple of days in a row last week. So
it was toasty. I'd go out to mow or do like whatever kind of work outside, and I'd pretty much limit it to like an hour and a half spurts, and then come inside and get a drink, cool off for a few minutes, and then go back out for like an hour or so. When it's that hot, you got to be careful.
You had fun mowing yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it was a couple of days ago. Yeah. I got stung by some bees. I don't know. I think they're called ground bees. I don't know what they are. It's some kind of a bee, like tiny little wasp thingy that lives in the ground. They have tiny little burrows, like you can barely see them. But I ran over their nest, which blows my mind because I mow there before and they never did anything, but I got my legs stung up probably 6 or 7 times. And I've had that happen when we lived in town one time. And that really blew my mind because I'm like, that's a tiny yard. I've mowed this 100 times this summer. And then just one day they got mad and came out. They're not yellow jackets.
They're the sweat bees, the little ones?
They're not that little. They're not quite as small as sweat bees. They're smaller. But I push mow it, so I got all stung up. But
hey, do you have a riding mower help make it more fun?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. The dog, I start, like I'm mowing, she's just sitting on the front porch watching me. All of a sudden, I stop the mower and I just I'm sprinting to the house. The dog was like, "What's going on?" She was trying to figure out who was attacking me. It was really funny. I could see in her face. She was like, "What are we going after?" I was done mowing that day. I put it off. I was like, it was near the end of the day. I had been mowing for 2 or 3 hours. I was like, we're done.
Yeah, we have a lot more to mow now that we moved those chickens, which kind of stinks. So.
Let's see. Texas Believer says, I go out early and then come inside to sow. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we kick the kids out after breakfast in the mornings, and you go outside and play. And they usually kind of complain because they have plans of what they want to do that day. I'm like, no, save those plans for 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because at 1 o'clock, when you're like, I'm bored, I want to go outside, it's going to be 100 degrees. So go outside now. Save your big plans for later.
Sharon asked if they're yellow jackets. I don't think they are because they're little, smaller things. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, riding board. And then Becky says, 85% humidity here. Louisiana weather is brutal.
You might as well just put your swimsuit on and just start swimming.
That does 85%. Sound like you're swimming. Let's see. Pete says, I always seem to hit a hornet's nest with a weed whacker at least once a summer. I did that. I've done that once. I was at the horse farm, and they had a path. It's like a living history museum, but we had Shire draft horses there. That's what I helped care for. But I was mowing and I was doing the weed eating, and they had a trail or like a road that they would take people on tours of. And I'm weed eating around one of those trees. All of a sudden, I get stung. Just one sting on my neck. I'm like, what in the world? And I look up, and no joke, there is a hornet's nest like a foot away from my face. I don't know how people never got stung because the tram ran into that tree. It wasn't, and it's not a big tree. It was a small tree. The tram, it was so close to the road, the tram would knock into that tree every time it went by. No one ever got stung. So I got a warning shot from them, and then we had somebody come and take care of it. But I think we were lucky that we didn't have like 10 or 12 people get stung that were on a tour.
Texas Believer says we have bulls like crazy this year. Thank God I have a mug named Paco that takes care of those for me. Yeah, our dog, Lexi, just molds bulls, digs them up, leaves them on the front porch for us. I mean, there are huge holes in our yard.
We have holes
digging, but
everywhere.
we don't have moles, so I don't know which one's better.
She's a menace when it comes to moles. They do not last long. She's
Finds them
on
right
it.
away, yeah.
But yeah, we have holes everywhere. So. It drives me nuts. Anyway.
But it's going good, so you good?
Yep.
I think we're going to call it good. We just wanted to hop on and catch on because it's been a while. So we'll keep trying to keep informed each week whether or not we can get on. Pete says, you live in an old farm like us. You get crickets that move into the house this summer, drive you crazy with their noise. Not crickets so much. We always have problems with wasps getting in the house because the house is wood siding. So they're attracted to the house, and then the kids are incapable of closing the door behind them, so they'll come in. And then frogs, I get frogs in the house too, because we have a pond, and they're like hopping through to the creek or something, and they bypass through the house. So there's no, you're not home during the day. In the spring, I remove 4 or 5 frogs of spring that get into our house.
Okay.
Not joking. Frogs. That's one I never was prepared for. So, but not crickets. I don't think.
Yeah, I would say not crickets. So. Every once in a while we might get a cricket, but they're pretty easy to find. So. Let's see, empty nesters here. We're just shutting down, but you made it. You made it.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Thanks for stopping, Becky. We'll let you know about next week when it gets closer. And yeah.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Yep. Everybody have a good week. You guys take care. Thanks for joining us.